Hello beautiful people, let's make this amazing chin chin. This is the type of chin chin that is crunchy on the outside and very soft inside. Here I have 1 large egg. I brought in evaporated milk. I used evaporated milk for this recipe. It gives a different texture and taste to this chin chin recipe, and I'm going to whisk it very properly to dissolve the yolk. I'll set this aside, and in here I brought in my flour. I will sift this flour. Normally if I'm making bread videos, I don't necessarily sift in my flour because I'll have to knead it, but we're not kneading this, so need to break in the flour molecules. And I also brought in nutmeg powder. I'm going to also sift this because I don't want the granules. And I also brought in sugar and salt, and we're going to mix all these dry ingredients to be combined properly. Now I brought in butter, and we are going to mix all this. I've washed my hands. We're going to mix all this to become crumbly, and when you're through mixing it, this is how it should look like. I patted it well, and I brought in the mixture of the egg and the milk, and we're also going to bring this together to form a dough. What we are looking out for is not a runny dough or a very hard dough. No, the dough should be soft but not watery. How you know you're doing it right is that at some point it wouldn't be sticking to your fingers anymore. All the dough would have fallen out of your fingers, and we're going to bring this together. We're not kneading this, just bringing it together. And I'll transfer this to my work table for easier work. Now I'll bring this together to form a ball shape with it, and I'll turn it to the other side and make it tight and nice. You see, it's not hard and it's not watery. Now I brought in some flour on my work surface because I don't want this dough to stick at all, and I brought in the dough. I'm also going to flour the top of the dough and my rolling pin so that this wouldn't give me issues while rolling it out. And now we'll start rolling this out. Roll it out on all sides. If this is hard, like when you're rolling it out and it's returning back, that means you have to allow the dough to rest for about 5 minutes. That time it should have relaxed and it will be easier for you to work with the dough. And we'll roll it out to about 1/4 of an inch. And I have a knife and a pizza cutter, but I always prefer using my pizza cutter. We're going to cut off the edges of this dough so that we'll have a uniform cut. Just observe what I'm doing. Now we'll pick out the excess and we're going to roll it into a ball shape. I'm going to use this for another batch of chin chin. Just form it into a ball shape and set it aside, and when you're ready with this batch, it will be easier for you to work with the other one. And we're going to cut the chin chin now. So occasionally I'll dust the pizza cutter with some flour so that it wouldn't be sticking to the dough. And if you're making chin chin for the first time or you're still new to this, you might not have the precision to cut it as fast as I'm doing it, but with time it's going to get easy, very easy for you. Everything works well when we practice often. Practice, they say, makes perfect. We're going to cut this all. If you notice, the flour we added underneath is helping it. Remember, at Glory Homemaker, we give you value for your time. So I'll scoop this with the scraper. It helps reduce lots of splatter when we are adding it into the oil. And I'll set this aside, and in a dry pan on heat, I added in oil, and we're going to allow this to get hot. To check if the oil is hot enough, I will add 1 chin chin cutout. If it sinks in, that means it's not ready. That means the oil is not ready. But when you see it moving and showing bigger bubbles, that tells you that the oil is ready. And now we're going to bring in the other chin chin. You see how easy it is to add them in without splattering lots of oil. I'll add it in and wait for 30 seconds. Within that 30 seconds, the chin-chin will firm up and I will stir it vigorously. Stirring it like that will help separate the chin-chin from each other so that they wouldn't be stuck to each other when you're done frying it. And we'll keep turning it occasionally from time to time. We are frying on medium to high heat. Just be checking the temperature. If you feel it's burning too quickly, you reduce the heat to medium, and we'll stir and turn this for between 5 to 7 minutes or until you see it turn golden brown in color. That tells you it's ready. If you don't fry your chin-chin well enough, it's going to be mushy and you might not like it. And if your oil is not hot enough, it's going to soak up oil and you also not like it. Now I'll bring them out in my ready serviette paper. This will help to take out some of the oil from the chin-chin. And also note that when your chin-chin gets cool, it's going to turn one shade darker. Always bear that in mind so that you know when to bring out your chin-chin from the oil. And now I want to show you this batch of frying. I intentionally didn't cut this out of the video so that I'll show you something very important. When you start frying the second batch, the likelihood of the oil foaming much is there because we added egg and butter to our dough mixture. If you don't want it to foam so much, please reduce the egg or take out the egg and reduce the butter you add in. This issue usually doesn't come out when you're frying the first batch, and many people have asked me, do I fry once and discard the oil and use another oil? But to me that doesn't make sense. Is to find a way around it. And what I do is to stir vigorously, keep stirring and turning it. That is why it's also good for you to use a deep pot while frying chin-chin so that the oil wouldn't spill over. That means you have to be on standby and stir this continuously as the chin-chin is frying. Otherwise, my brother, my sister, you and oil will be having a swimming pool party, no caps. So we are all learning here. If you have other methods to stop the oil from foaming when you're frying from the second batch, you can drop it in the comment section so that we all will learn together. And as I fry, I transfer the chin-chin to a larger bowl where air can enter into it for it to cool completely before storing it up either in your plastic containers or your plastic wraps. The chin-chin has to be completely cool before adding it into an airtight container, and it can last for months. If you fried it well, it wouldn't go mushy. This is a no-fail chin-chin recipe and the taste is always amazing. I also store this in small plastic bags. It makes it easier for snacking. I hope you learned a thing or more from this video. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video.